Thank you for joining us today, everyone. Do we have any recognitions, delegations? I didn't see anyone I passed. If not, we will move on to old business, which is revision of the 2021 school budget.
And the purpose of this special call meeting will be to consider recently announced reductions in state funding and an amended annual school budget for the 2020-21 fiscal year. And Ms. Irvine is going to outline some of the changes that we have made to the budget that we submitted to the city in its original format by the April 1 deadline. And we'll explain what we've done to meet the reduced state funding. Ms. Irvine?
Sure. So as most of you know, I think in mid-March, the General Assembly did approve a revised budget, or a budget for the upcoming biennium. And the board met, I think it was on March 26th, and approved a budget for what that meant for Covington City Schools. And we submitted that budget to City Council, I think on March the 30th. And then we had COVID-19. So Governor Northam made some budget reductions, and then the General Assembly met, I guess, 2 weeks ago to review his recommendations. And they released their budget last week, Thursday I think it was. New calc tools were posted on DOE's website with new amounts for each school division. And so it was a pretty significant cut because, you know, all the new initiatives and money that had been fairly generous in the budget that was approved back in mid-March went away. The compensation supplement that included a 2% salary increase, and funding for at-risk students, funding for the Virginia School Initiative, all of those things, you know, got reduced or went away in their entirety. So we received this template last Thursday, and we immediately began working on our budget to make the reductions. And then Mrs. Snee Johnson received an email on Friday that City Council was meeting tomorrow night to review a budget. So that's why we had to have a meeting today, because we didn't want to submit something to City Council without your approval. So as a result of the decrease in state funding based on our original ADM, which we had projected at $960, our state cut was going to be $182,457. In the midst of all this, we also finalized our March 31st ADM for the current year, which ended up being $952.5. So based on that reduction, and based on just the fact that we all know we're living in a new normal, or soon to be living in a new normal, we don't know what our ADM might be. You know, children might not come back to school, or parents may choose not to send their kids back to school. So we reduced our ADM from 960 to 945. So with that ADM decrease combined with the general fund reductions, there was a total decrease in the budget of $287,766. So the budget now totals $11,465,236 for general operations and $515,780 for the cafeteria fund. So that is even less than the current year's budget, approximately $40,000. So it's a significant reduction. Obviously, the 2% salary increase that we had budgeted went away. We reduced a position, an aide position went away. And so I think the reductions are outlined there. The General Assembly did not stop the mandatory minimum wage increase. They did delay it. It was supposed to take effect in July. They delayed that till May. I do have it in there for us to start in July. I thought it was best to just do it for the whole fiscal year rather than do it mid-year. So that is in there. Funding for the minimum wage increase is in there. You know, the minimum wage did in fact impact our cafeteria workers and their starting salary now will be $950, and instructional aides, the starting salary will now be $1025. So the vacant speech language pathologist position at CHS is eliminated. We're contracting those services currently, and we expect to continue that for next year and not fill that position. So that does result in some savings. The guidance position and the literary coach position at Edgemont Primary School, they'll remain at their current levels rather than increase those. We do still have the Virginia College Advisory Course position in there for $10,000, and the new bus driver position, that position really replaced the maintenance helper position at a lower salary. So there's no increase in there. The maintenance helper position is currently vacant and will remain vacant. And then we were able to realize some savings with retirements due to, and some staff we're hoping can be transferred. And we're hoping that remaining vacant positions will be filled at lower salaries. We're not certain of that, but based on the people that we've contacted now and the interviews that we're conducting, we're hopeful that those positions can be filled at lower salaries. Our open enrollment has been completed, so we do know the cost of health care for our current staff, and there was a slight decrease there overall. But of course, new people that we hire will be choosing plans, and I've budgeted everybody basically with a dual plan. So if people don't need our health insurance, or they come in with a single plan, there'll obviously be some savings there. But based on what we know right now, this is our best projection. And there I don't know, there could be further reductions. There also could be more, funding. There's stimulus funding that's going to be available to help alleviate some of these issues that we're facing. There's also possibly some FEMA money, but those have not been added to the budget at this time because they cross really 3 fiscal years. The CARES funding, I think, starts in March and goes through September of 2022. So we don't know how much we are going to do this year, next year, or the year after. So I haven't budgeted any of that money yet, but perhaps we would at some time. So I feel like we'll have to revise this budget after City Council looks at it. I feel like we'll be revising this budget after we start the fiscal year next year. I think we'll revise our budget again, because I think it's just constantly evolving. I'd be happy to entertain any questions that you have.
Mr. Eric Summer, anything?
Thank you for all your hard work with that. I can't imagine what you have been doing all weekend. That's awful, all those numbers. I do appreciate your hard work, and I know how difficult it is to decide what to cut.
Right. Well, we started out very optimistic, based on Governor Northam, based on the General Assembly. Our budget looked really good at the beginning of the year. A better budget than we had in the past couple of years for education. But not so much now, through nobody's fault, really.
And there's still so much uncertainty. We don't know what might happen and when it might happen. The board has been wonderful about looking at the budget that we presented in March and taking some good hard look at some of the things we had hoped to do, and now this is new for us, and it's something that we just have to try to work through. And again, the support of the board is always appreciated when we have to do a change in our budget. And I agree with Ms. Irvine. There may be more changes that we might have to consider. I am appreciative of our staff that continues to work hard during this pandemic, and I know when the new school year opens, when that might be, they will continue to work hard. So we just have to, we're in this together, and we have to figure out how we can make all of this happen. I am very, very pleased with what Ms. Irvin was able to do with this first round of money that we knew we had to cut because of the state funding being cut. So I appreciate it, Ms. Irvin. Anybody have any questions about what we're doing today or?
And with this budget that's going to be presented, like you said, we'll probably have to change it. But are we seeing it to be, I mean, it's not going to be in stone because everything's changing, correct?
We'll have to start with a budget, but we'll have to maybe send it back for review to you all one more time, possibly. I don't know with the evolving numbers, how we will work with the evolving numbers. Ms. Irvin, any suggestions?
We'll have to have a budget to start the fiscal year, which starts in July 1. We'll have to have a budget, and we have to have a budget that's approved by City Council, appropriation from City Council.
Right.
Which I think they're beginning to work on. I think they're just beginning to have their budget talks tomorrow. So I don't know what that will mean for all departments. I'm sure they have state cuts just like we do.
Right.
They have sales tax reductions just like we do. So I don't know what their overall budget looks like and what that might mean for the school system. But we'll just deal with whatever information we get. If we have new numbers from the city, then we'll be coming back with you again sometime. Possibly even as early as next week. I don't know. We'll be coming back with you because we won't finalize any budget without your approval.
And we don't know as well the reopening of the state. I didn't catch the entire briefing from the governor today when he was outlining different phases. So those phases and how things go could impact how school begins, and the things that we do and programs that we currently have in place may have to change, and we just don't know that. So there's a lot of unknowns still.
And the principals continue to work with the staff here to come up with plans for what next year might look like, but we have not finalized anything yet. We keep hoping for more definite answers, and I think we get a little bit more every week, but they're still not definite enough to make a final plan at the moment. But we do have to have a budget by July 1, and this is another start towards a 2021 budget. So, Ms. Irvin, anything else?
No, I mean, it has to be really before July 1, because I don't know when. I think the city may have to finalize their budget by the end of May, I think. So, which will mean we do too. So, but I think these are final numbers from the state at least. I think these are final numbers from the state.
That's as long as we feel confident we're working with the best state numbers that we have available.
Yes.
Right. And
That's best we can do.
Potentially our ADM could be, higher, but I think it's not wise to do that now.
So to move forward, you want us to take action this evening.
Ms. Jones, did you have something to add or question?
No, ma'am, I gave my comment, thank you.
Okay, thank you. We wanted to make sure.
If there's no other discussion, I guess I will entertain a motion to approve this version of the budget and submit to the city.
So moved.
Ms. Jones?
A second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?